This is Nashtaters. Welcome back to another episode of War of the Visions. So, today is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Happy Wednesday, where we're going to get a lot of free stuff, new events, new cards, new everything. I think it's a good time to really just kind of have a very nice, relaxing conversation. Maybe something I like to be called Let's Be Frank. So, it's not going to be a series or anything, but I feel like we need to have one of these Let's Be Frank situations every so often. Just kind of have a relaxing, hang back, and just kind of discuss whatever we feel like is on our mind for this game. For my free-to-play account, I did not go after Warrior Light. I felt like it would have been too much stressful to attempt to get him, especially the fact that I was pretty low on gems. And that also led me to really just try to go for Kitofe on the first two steps of the 5-step pull. I was unsuccessful. I was already recorded, so I spent 2,500 gems and didn't get her. I was hoping to get her, but to be honest, I think that was just kind of being a little greedy, you know? And I mean that in the sense that I didn't have enough materials to really build her. I think just having her on the squad would have been like a comforting feeling, but you know, it didn't swing my way and it was all good. But for those of you who have been following my videos within the last 10 days, you know that I got Venera as part of the free pull. That was a little surprising to me, to be honest. Like, I wasn't expecting her. And now that she is on the squad, I will definitely try to build her. And right now, I'm slowly working on her because of the fact that I missed out on her in terms of the 100, 200, 120 shards from the shop. You know, it's going to be a little slow process to get her to limit break 3. And of course, I have enough rainbows to kind of get another unit perhaps to awakening 6. So I have to kind of figure out what I want to do on that part. But a quick overview of some of the newer stuff that I did get. Most recent addition was, of course, I summoned Whisper and I got her. She is slowly getting there to level 79. I already kind of limit break or awaken her. So that's going to be my main focus. It's going to be the few tanks that I got. And I'm going to go definitely try to get Whisper to 89 as fast as possible, of course. And of course, Salir is very close to finished. And I think she's going to be my main source of damage in terms of single targets and whatnot. And of course, I already have Mariana level 99, which will be a very powerful source of AoE / single targets. I think going forward, I'm going to have these two units going to be very useful when it comes to the second edition of the tower. Now, we're not sure which edition we're going to get, right? Are we going to get the 34 version? Or are we going to just get a repeat of the 20-floor version? Either way, I did pretty good on my main account, but on my free-to-play, I wasn't able to completely finish it. I just didn't see the value in trying to complete it by sinking all those hours that I was going to do for the last several floors. You know, for 2 accounts, that's already kind of tedious, and I just didn't think I was powerful enough at that time. So now I'm definitely more prepared to try to conquer that. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm probably going to go and work on Ziza as well. As you can see, I'm really close. I'm almost halfway to limit break 5. And since I did pull a Venera, it's going to be a very nice complementary Trustmaster for Venera to make her very, very, very powerful. So I think I'm definitely going to work on those 2 units combined, the Ziza and the Venera. And of course, I also got Rain for my free pulls, which is pretty amazing because I was probably leaning towards Whisper trying to get her to be a magic tank. But now that I got Rain, and on top of it, Rain was actually quite useful, surprisingly enough, for the raid. I didn't use him, of course. But I did a little research to see kind of what other units people were playing with against the Death Machine raid. Turns out Rain was actually the leading candidate because of the fact that his AI was really kind of making him use a lot of his fire attacks, right? And it makes sense because he's also a magic tank, so he was able to take the damage and dish it. So having 4 Rains, I think, was one of the good ways to approach the Death Machine. But, you know, with the login bonuses, I have 100 shards, so I think you need 120 to get him to limit break 2, so I'll slowly work on him. And I definitely want to get him and Whisper up go into the future as my main tanks. And of course, Mont will probably drop down to perhaps a knight, in which he can be my supporting slash damaging unit. And I think that's a good way to approach the game now that you're getting newer tanks implemented onto your squad. I think I will probably also finish Gafgarion, since he is a glass cannon slash attacking unit, and he did really well for me actually for the white marshmallow raid, because I think he was the actual massive damage dealer if you didn't have Venera. Surprisingly, my Shadowlings did a lot less damage because of the fact that she just couldn't keep up AP wise. I think it would have been a lot different if I actually had the bell, but I didn't. So I think going forward, if the white marshmallow raid returns, I will finish off Gafgarion before then and have him as my dark attacking unit. But of course, once Venera comes up, maybe that will be all moot point. But it's really nice to have him for the tower, because I think it was floor 18 or floor 19 where you have to go up against all of those light units. He could like one-shot him with his abyssal, was it abyssal sword or abyssal whatever that skill is, does an AoE and then drain some of his life. And you could take out easily 2 to 3 units if you kind of get them together and into a corner. So I feel like Gafgarion is definitely worth the investment. And I think once I build Whisper, I'm going to finish Murmur as well as part of the Sisterhood. I think for her, she's very close. And being an SR unit, she's going to be a lot easier to do, especially if you want to use the Mog Shop. Once you get many of your SR units to be limit break broken 5, then all the excess you can actually buy 15 shards of these units for 75 of those overflow medals. So it's a pretty good deal actually. I think most of us won't be able to do anything above SR medals though. So, and then again, of course, I can easily kind of get her to 99 if I so choose. But right now, I think I'm gonna just wait until Whisper is strong enough to be showcased and highlighted in some of my future videos. And I think going forward, I definitely want to finish Gilgamesh. It's going to be a long road because right now he's only limit breaking 1. But if you just keep at it every single day, farm his shard, 1 shard a day, you know, the longevity of this game hopefully lasts more than a year. And hopefully, you know, maybe 6 to 12 months, you can get him up. And over time, you can still be able to get some free bonuses in terms of maybe you get lucky and summon for extra 40 shards, and you know, maybe you see some discounts, and of course the 2x for the hard nodes will be kind of nice touch. I wasn't able to get Dario on this account, and so that's something that I don't need to worry about. And I think in many ways it's a blessing in disguise, because I got Whisper, I got Rain, and Dario is a really good tank. It's just, well, I already got Whisper, and I think I'm going to dedicate a lot of my resources to her. So moving forward, that's something I plan to do. I do still look at Nasha every single day, and I want to build her. And right now, I think doing review videos, I do want to keep going with the SRs. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to maybe study up on one of these SRs, and I'm thinking of looking at little Leela, and then probably make a video on her, because I really enjoy the SR units. I think what I'm going to end up doing is perhaps one day hope that the companies decide to remove the rainbow fragments of thoughts for the lower rarities. So for example, maybe the SRs won't require such a heavy hit on your rainbow fragments of thoughts. It does take 5, by the way. So I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 would be, you know, maybe more ideal, especially for players that perhaps are free to play or beginners. So that way they have a broader options to build certain units in the beginning. Building a bunch of URs is just not, it's just not really ideal, right? At least in the first, I would say anywhere from 6 to 8 months of the lifespan of the game. At least the lifespan of the account of the individual. I don't think it's just reasonable, you know what I'm saying? We just don't get enough materials to do that. So I think if they lower the costs for SRs and MRs, that will get people to really think about perhaps building a bigger variety of units across the board in terms of rarity. And I will much enjoy that. I didn't get Victoria, so I think I'm going to finish off Sasha as well as a future piercing unit, because right now in Japan, piercing is very powerful. And as a free-to-play account, it's very hard to map out exactly what I want, because you know that it's all luck. No matter how many gems you save, you don't get it. It's going to be very devastating. I've read stories and I heard that people who saved about 50, 60 grand for Warrior of Light didn't get them, end up just quitting the game. And it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate that that does happen to people, and I feel sorry for those folks. And I want to apologize myself, just because, you know, it's as a creator, as a content creator, you always feel bad for people that don't get what they want. It's wise to really not think too far ahead. I know planning videos is pretty popular now, and for me, I feel like it's not a good idea to plan too far ahead, because luck will get in your way and ruin your plans. And no matter how many gems you save, you're gonna end up blowing them all on summoning. And if you don't get enough materials back in terms of gambling or, you know, return, it's gonna be more devastating to your account. So I feel like personally that I will still talk about future units, talk about the ones I want, but ideally, if you go right now and open up your game and look at all your units / characters, look at the ones that you already have, that you're working on, and kind of see exactly how many gems you're going to need to finish those off, right? How much material you're going to need. Chances are you shouldn't be building too wide here, right? Like, as you can see, I'm just leveling some units up because you have to. After a while, you're going to have to level up your weaker units, because your Chocobo expedition is going to use them up quickly. And then when you're playing normal mode, you want to kind of take advantage of the leveling process and just level up all your units that you can. It doesn't mean you build them, it just means you level them up. So for me, I think I have too many units to work on, like character here, character here, character here, character here. And then Rain, right? Maybe Gilgamesh, maybe Yerma, maybe Grace, you know, maybe Adelard. Maybe I'm saying his name wrong, but all of these units are all really, really good. And power creeping is a topic of conversations people are having now. The main reason is because Final Fantasy IV is showing us how powerful and how much power creeping they're already doing in Japan. And Super Armor Godstern, as I like to call him, is one of the harder hitting units in the game. And he's a premium unit, right? And Kane from Final Fantasy IV is not a premium unit, but he hits really, really hard. And he's a piercing unit. And so, something to really think about. Maybe 5-6 months down the road when we get Final Fantasy IV, that's something you want to anticipate. The power creeping will be strong. I'm slowly learning more and more that vision cards are a lot more important than before. And I think the biggest issue and the biggest hurdle of building vision cards is the fact that they share the spheres with the units. So for many players, that's going to be very hard to do. So ideally, you should be probably building 5 to 10 units by the 6 months period, and then perhaps spending a lot of your spheres to really beef up some of your vision cards. Having lots of units not necessarily going to translate to more success. I think it's equally important to build vision cards to supplement those units that you have already built. As you can see, I didn't work on any of the cards that I actually got as a side. I did get this card. I think I got him for free, if not mistaken. It's a very good card, and I think I should definitely work on this card. I was able to buy some from the shops, which will segue nicely to, should you be spending your gems to buy vision cards in the shop, right? You see them, and generally speaking, they're half price compared to buying units, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know when you buy a UR, actually a little bit tiny more than half price, because I think it's 1,250 to buy shards of a UR card compared to 2,000 gems for 40 shards of a unit. So something to really think about, right? Because some of these cards are really powerful, like this guy, Remu, super powerful card. Gives you lots of a magic attack power. Trousseau, personally, I think this is one of the best cards in the entire game. In terms of helping you out magic attack. Because I know magic attack up and magic power percentages are two different things. And I think on the Japanese server, they rank this card super, super high. Super, super high. And this card, the Echoing Screams, also is ranked super, super high because of the slash attack up. And also, of course, attack debuff, it's kind of nice too. So overall, I think it's something you need to think about in terms of investing your spears in some of these vision cards. As you can see, I have tons of nice cards on this account. I got Odin, I got this card, I got this card. This card was new. Secrets of the Heart, Luck Up, which is really nice for critical and dodging. So yeah, a lot of good cards. And then also, like, look at your lower rarity cards. Like, this card is very, very good. This card is really good for several reasons. One, when you're just starting to level up one of your newer units, you tend to not land your hits. And what that means is you're not going to be increasing your efficiency on your weapons. So ideally, you want to power this up. It's very cheap to power up. I already got maxed out. I just have to power it up, sorry. And then your accuracy will go up. And this will also help the rest of your members in terms of accuracy. I think it's 20 or 25 here and 5 here, if I'm not mistaken. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to be training your efficiency of your equipment, and therefore you're going to be leveling up a lot faster. So you're going to be spending less time later on to try to, you know, catch up on the efficiency. So you can do more damage, right? So you can land more hits and whatever. So it's a nice card to do. And then you can kind of look at the other rarity cards. Those are some really nice ones. I think this one give you slash resistance. But being a lower rarity, of course, you're going to get less stats. But they're really nice and cheap to max out. So they're really good for beginners, and they're also really good for when you're, like I said, when you're trying to level up a brand new unit. I think that's all the time I have for this video. I think it's sometimes interesting and much needed relaxing videos. Just kind of talk about things, right? And I want to thank y'all for watching, and always take care of yourself and all your loved ones. Nashtaters and his family out.